Hello there, YouTube viewers. This is Bible Believer 2009 with another important video. This is probably going to be one of the most important videos I think I've probably done in a while to me. This is an issue near and dear to my heart. I want to do a video about the case of the woman in Fort Worth, Texas, who has been kept on life support due to a Texas state law that prohibits hospitals and doctors from pulling life support from somebody who is pregnant. This lady's name, her name is Marlise Munez. I think that's how you pronounce that. Her husband, Eric, found her unconscious on the kitchen floor. Apparently, she had a pulmonary embolism. And she was already, and by the way, I want to make this point known, she was already 4 months pregnant, about 14 weeks, I believe that's what it was. And the husband, now the husband and his wife's mother are suing to have the life support removed from Mrs. Munez. Which really, this really bothers me. You have the grandmother and the father of this child, both want. Apparently, they have no problem with killing this child, and that's really disturbing. The reason why I'm doing this video is I happened to come across this story last night on the Communist News Network. Excuse me, I mean CNN, but I mean that's what I call CNN, the Communist News Network, because they're just a bunch of scumbags on there. That's why their ratings are going down in the toilets, because they're un-American, they're pro-abortion, pro-homosexuality, pro-socialism. Anyway, let's get to the serious issues of this case. Let's see here. Basically, this is happening in a hospital in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm just giving you the facts of the case. There's a state law in Texas, again, it forbids hospitals from pulling life support from people who are pregnant, which I think it's a good law. Let's see here. And again, when this happened, Marlise Munez, she was already 4 months pregnant, so been carrying this baby for 4 months. And as you know, it's you're 9 months for full cycle pregnancy. So, and I like to. Well, let me put it this way. The reason why I came across the story is I saw a debate on this on Anderson Cooper 360 or something like that. And they had Mark Garagos as an attorney. He may be one of the husband's attorneys. I don't know. The guy's a scumbag. He looked like a Google on there. On there arguing why, basically referring to this 14-week-old baby, this 4-month-old baby, as a quote fetus, and it's just a bunch of tissue. And basically, he would make a good Nazi. And most of the other guests on the show were making the same argument. And I was really disgusted by this debate last night. Now, let me give you some facts in this case, and then I want to give you, and by the way, I'm going to probably give you some truth in this video that you're not going to get on the mainstream media about this case. Because I did my own little investigation. I took down some notes. I looked at a few articles on this case. Let's see here. Anyway, the first thing I want to go over, though, this woman is 14 weeks pregnant. That is 4 months. I did the math on that. You realize a 4-month-old baby can squint, frown, grimace, has facial expressions, in other words. Do you realize what you do when you grimace or you frown or you squint? You know what that is? That's responding to stimuli. But especially when you are, it seems that when you can frown and grimace, you know what that is? That's expressing a strong emotion. Because usually if I grimace or if I'm frowning, I'm not happy about something. I'm expressing my emotion. That the baby starts urinating. And in fact, at the front of this video, the picture that you saw of a baby in a uterus or in the woman's womb, that is what a 4-month-old baby would look like. So that's why I put that picture up there, so you can imagine what I'm talking about. Oh, and this baby, at 4 months, they could suck their thumb. Who knew? And it's very active, kicking and stuff like that. This baby is actually alive. It's a person. It's expressing emotion. It has a heartbeat. It has brain activity. Oh, and by the way, to suck your thumb, that is not an automatic reflexive action of the body. That's your controlled muscle. You see, now, notice here, now, if I'm going to touch my nose with my hand, it doesn't automatically do it. I have to send a thought. I have to think, you know what, I want to touch my nose in my brain. Sends a signal down to my finger, my arm, my finger. Bing! So, this baby is able to, hey, I would like to suck my thumb now. It's actually consciously doing that. It's not a reflex. It's not a... So this is another person involved in this case. This baby, which I watched this debate on Anderson Cooper, nobody stood up for the baby. except for one woman, but even she was kind of leery on it. So again, I've just told you what a baby's like at 14 weeks, or in other words, 4 months old. And another point I want to make about this case is I noticed I was watching on Anderson Cooper and they kept referring to it as the fetus. Now, what I just described to you about what a baby can do at 14 weeks and the picture you see at the front is that look like a person to you or a fetus? It's a person, it's a baby. And what you got to realize, folks, they're using this case to argue for abortion, to argue for genocide, to argue for eugenics, Nazi-style eugenics, okay? And the term fetus is used to dehumanize another human being, a baby. See, if you can say fetus, it just sounds like a blob of tissue and we can just get rid of it and whatever. But for them to call it a baby, they would basically defeat their own position. And they know that. So they have to brainwash and convince the American people. It's what it is it's just like in George Orwell's 1984, changing the meaning of terms. That's all this is. It's an Orwellian term. And so basically this case is being used to push for apparently it's okay to kill babies. And by the way, anyway. So I want to make that point. That's something I noticed about this video. 4-month-old baby. Now another thing, here's some other thoughts I have on. Here's number one. Here's a big thought I have on this video. Marlise Munez, the husband, he claims that his wife told him she didn't want to be kept on machines if something ever happened to her. Okay, that's what he claims, but we have no evidence to substantiate his claim. And that's fine. I mean, people do that, but the husband has never made any statements about what the woman has said about this baby. And this is going to be important because I'm going to reveal some information to you here. I'm going to show you some logic, some stuff that's right before your eyes if you just look at it. This woman, she told her husband apparently that if anything ever happens to me, I don't want to be resuscitated, I don't want to be kept on machines. Okay, that's fine. That's a decision for herself. But you'll notice, again, the baby was never brought up. And so I just don't think this woman could have ever imagined, okay, that, hey, she's going into the kitchen and all of a sudden she's just going to fall dead. You just don't imagine that happening. It just happens out of nowhere. And she never made any statements about what she would do with the baby in that case. And so that is a legal issue because it's usually in law you have to be very precise. And what mother is going to imagine? Yes, I might die I might happen to die, just out of nowhere while I'm pregnant. And what's going to happen to me if I'm on machines and I'm still carrying my baby? And this fact, and basically, I'm going to illuminate something on this. Again, the fact this woman carried this baby for 4 months. Okay, 4 months. It certainly seemed like she had already. This is almost half term, man. Another month, it'll be a little over half a term. Okay, almost a full baby. She wanted this child. Obviously, common sense tells you that. She carried it for 4 months. Okay, so this is a woman who wanted her baby, and I'm fixing to open your eyes to something here in a minute. Just keep that in your mind. And again, like I said, there's another person involved here. This is a baby, not a fetus. And the baby's rights count. Okay? And you might be able to make a decision, hey, I want to die if something ever happens to me, but you can't make that same decision for another person. And that never was addressed. I'm just a little suspicious of the husband here because, yeah, he makes the case, well, my wife said that if she, but why hasn't he ever talked about what the wife wanted for her baby? I mean, because there's some facts here that's going to come up here. The next point I'm going to make is, and check this out. This lady was already 4 months pregnant, according to this case, when she died. So she would already have carried this baby nearly half the term of this pregnancy, because the pregnancy is 9 months. So she was pretty close to half of that term. Pretty far along in this pregnancy. And as you know, I think even in Texas, to get an abortion, you have to be way earlier in the pregnancy than that. So, by logic, the baby, by the way, and this kind of interests me. because the husband is now claiming through the lawyers, through medical records that have been released, that the baby has deformities, that the baby has all these severe problems. But here's my question, okay? If that's so, that means these problems, that the baby had, these medical problems that the baby's having, these deformities, would have occurred before she died. It would have had to have, and had something that had to have happened while she was carrying this child. Here's my logical question. If this baby is so deformed and everything like that, or couldn't make it, why has this woman been carrying this child for most of the term? It's obvious to me this woman wanted this child. It may have medical problems. And I think there's a possibility here that the husband could be exaggerating these medical problems of the baby to justify killing his own child. And this really bothers me. So she was already, so basically any damage done to this child, it would not have been done because of the oxygen issue. There would have had to been some issues already there. But this woman was determined to have this child, knowing that it could be disabled. And it's in medical records, so the doctors already knew this. And when you are pregnant, okay, and I know this because when my wife was pregnant, we had regular ultrasounds and stuff like that, so they could check the status of the baby. And any kind of major deformity like they're talking about, where you can't even tell the sex of the child, that would have been seen in regular ultrasounds, would it have not been? So so basically the doctors knowing this, she knew it. She still wanted to keep her baby. She still carried it. She was carrying it nearly up to half term. You know what I'm saying? And suspiciously, so that means that this baby is going to be born disabled. The doctors would have already known it. The woman would have already known it. So why aren't we hearing any information about what the woman thought about her baby, who already had issues? And so common sense will tell me, why are we not hearing anything about what the woman wanted for her child? That does matter. And surely she would have told her husband, hey, I know my child's disabled, but I want to keep it. You would have had to have that conversation. It makes sense. And what I suspect, that her husband he doesn't want a disabled child, and so now he is going to try to use the court system to murder this poor kid. And this is Terri Schiavo all over again. Terri Schiavo was alive, looking around, conscious. She was not brain dead. And I believe her husband killed her because he probably didn't want to deal with her because she was disabled. And that is an evil piece of trash, Terri Schiavo's husband, okay? And I'm starting to think that this lady's husband, Mr. Eric Munez, is an evil guy, because something's not adding up here. Something's not adding up. They're trying to make it look like on the media, well, the damage occurred because of the oxygen deprivation. But she died already 4 months pregnant. So that would mean that a lot of the medical problems or the disability would have happened during the 4 months that she'd already been carrying the child. So they would have already known the child was disabled. They would have had to already known. And what I suspect is she wanted the baby, he didn't, and now this is his opportunity to get rid of the child. And the mainstream media, they're not giving you all the information, and there's a lot of information missing in this case. So before we make any judgments here, we probably do need to, look at the information. And see, the media do this all the time. They will present a case like this and not give you all the information. They will feed you false information, give you false impressions of the case, in order to get you to arrive at the conclusion that they want you to. In this case, pro-abortion. Let's kill the baby, yeah. And I gotta say, I watched this debate on Anderson Cooper. Nobody brought up any of these issues, real issues here. The fact there's another person involved. The fact this is a baby that's it's 4 months old. It can use facial expressions. It can smile. It can grimace. It can apparently, let's see here, this child can express emotion, suck its thumb. This is a person, a living, breathing human being, and they're just treating this baby, like it's not worth anything. As human life becomes so cheap in our society, that because of a child, it may be disabled, and I heard them making that argument, the child's disabled, it ain't gonna have a quality of life, so we gotta get rid of it. You see, and what you don't realize is, you're being indoctrinated by the media. If somebody gets too sick or too old, they're disabled, well, just kill them. And you don't even realize that's what Hitler did in Nazi Germany. That's what he brainwashed the German people to go along with, man. Murdering people because they were disabled. They had Down syndrome, or they were born with deformities, or they weren't German enough. They were too old. And by the way, Hitler did that under his version of socialized medicine. Yeah. And, now in the United States, Obama he's peddling Obamacare, which is going to be doing the same thing, denying people medical treatment. So now you're going to have the government deciding who lives and who dies. It's like Nazi Germany, and that's what they're preparing the American people for. To eventually go along with a program like that, where you get too sick or too old, man, you just disappear. They just take you and kill you. And that's what we're being brainwashed into. And people don't value life anymore. Used to, man, people have been horrified at the thought of killing an innocent baby like that, whether it's disabled or not. And, well, especially with being disabled, aren't we supposed to protect the rights of the disabled? Supposed to try to protect them from abuse and stuff like that? Really? I mean, seriously. I mean, next they'll probably say, well, hey, somebody gets too old and the family decides that instead of putting the nursing home, we just want to kill them. I guess they'll get a court to side with them on that, and they'll be saying, why we need to kill old people. And then it might go into, well, if you don't have the right attitudes and you disagree with the government and you're a problem, and they think you're not contributing and you're a troublemaker, well, they just kill you too. And then you've got a Nazi kind of, by the way, you got a system like Nazi Germany or Soviet Russia where the government wants to kill you, they kill you. People don't care. And so, and again, I want to do this video because I want to be the voice for this baby. I want to speak out for this baby and be a voice for the voiceless. So this baby's voice can be heard. This baby has a voice. It's a person. And its voice should be heard. And this baby is a valuable, precious little, innocent little human being in the eyes of God. And this lady's husband and her mother will answer to God for what they're doing. And they will be judged. And their hell is going to be hot if they don't repent of this garbage and stop this garbage, because you are murdering your grandchild, Grandma. You're murdering your own child, Daddy. And now all of a sudden, I know why the mainstream media has picked this case up, because it's a way for them to sell abortion, to promote their agenda. So, and by the way, where do you think abortion came from in this country? Margaret Sanger, she founded Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood, they're the abortion providers. Margaret Sanger, and I read information on this woman, did research. She was a big admirer and a fan of Adolf Hitler. Loved his eugenics programs. What do you think Planned Parenthood is, man? They just took the Nazi eugenics program and brought it to the United States and implemented it. But I'm going to get called an extremist for, making this video. I don't care. But, because I'm standing up for the life of this unborn child that deserves to live, has a right to live. And I suspect that the husband in this case is exaggerating probably the level of disability this child has. This child could be capable of great things, even being disabled. I've seen it happen time and time again. We don't have a right to play God and say, you know what, we just say, you know what, you're dead. You don't need to live anymore. No. Let God work in this situation. Let him make the call. This baby, and by the way, and this baby has held on for 4 months, is still alive, even in this difficult situation where the mother is clinically dead. And they're using the machine, but her body's being kept alive, the blood's being kept circulating and everything like that. But isn't it interesting? This baby is still holding on. This baby apparently wants to live. It's fighting. It's holding on for life. That should tell you something right there. It's a person, dadgummit. Every time I hear one of these idiots on the media say the word fetus, I just want to punch him in the face, because it's a baby, not a fetus. I hate that word. I despise it. I loathe it. But anyway, I'm doing this video to stand up for this poor little baby, and I'm going to download this video to YouTube, and I'm also going to try to put a link to it on Facebook. I'm going to try to upload it to Anderson Cooper's Facebook page if they let you upload video on there. So, or at least I can put a link to it. But again, there's another person in this case. There's a lot of information. The media is not giving us accurate information on this case. They're trying to mislead the public on this case. And a little baby, innocent little baby's life is at stake. And I'm going to be praying for this baby, that this baby would survive, that God would intervene, because if God doesn't intervene, this baby don't have a chance. especially these liberal judges. Apparently, they just, they're ghoulish. They like the judge that killed Terry Schiavo, a ghoul. And again, Mark Garagos on there, he really disgusted me on Anderson Cooper last night. What an offensive jerk. What a ghoul he looks like up there. I mean, and these guests on here, they just have no problem with it. Boy, let's kill the baby, yeah! They're just gung-ho to kill this little baby, It's just sickening. What a satanic society we live in. It just goes to show how satanic our society has gotten, how we've gotten this culture of death. I mean, how sickening, how disgusting, how just evil has our society gotten in this case. I mean, how evil and just how evil has our society gotten when we can justify killing an innocent little baby like this child, precious little child like this. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. God bless you.